Hello, it's Lou Collins. Today I've got a template for you and this is available for you to download on Craftworld. So this is from Die Cutting Essentials magazine. This was in issue 94 and it's an exploding box template. Now this is a very simple version and I'll explain to you how to make this much more complex afterwards as well. But once you've got started with the template then you'll be well away. You can create this in any size you want to and add multiple layers as well. So I'm going to be using two different colour cardstocks here, one for the base and one for the lid. Now as you can see, very simple, just the kind of cross-shaped base and then just a very simple single layer lid here. So you're just going to need a scoreboard and either some scissors or a good trimmer. So let's get started first of all with the base. Let's just do this one first. So I've made sure that the pattern paper that I've chosen has got elements of the colour of the lid in it as well, so they match really well. And I'm also going to be using, just grab this from over here, is my repositionable glue. So this is just a spray glue that I can attach my template to my paper with. So just pop that on there. And then I can remove it afterwards cleanly without worrying about any additional lines. So I'm just going to trim around the edges. Now you can use a trimmer for this if you want to, but sometimes I just find using my scissors is as quick and easy as using a trimmer. So just work your way around each of the straight edges that's a solid. Don't cut into the dotted lines because we always use the dotted lines as score lines. Now before I remove the template from the top, I'm going to use my scoreboard here and I'm just going to score those dotted lines. This is a nice easy shape to score, which I love. You can just pop it on there along both of the edges and just run your scoring tool down one of the grooves. So nice right angles, nice and simple. So down one there and the same on this side as well. You may have to just move your template side to side ever so slightly to be able to fit into one of the grooves nicely, because of course every template can't be made to perfectly fit whichever scoreboard you have at home. They do all vary ever so slightly. So I've got my 4 score lines in there to create my base. I can peel this off and I could go ahead and I could make 2, 3, 4 more of these if I wanted to, but what I would say personally is just cut down the length of each of these tabs. I'm actually going to make another one just to show you how I do that. So pop this back onto the next colour cardstock that I'd like to use. And I'm going to cut up each of the edges like so. And then these are all going to be around about a centimetre shorter, just like so. Now you can also do the width if you prefer, but I'm quite happy to just do the length around these. So I'll go round and I'll do around about, you can measure this, you can do your pencil lines and measure if you like, but around about a centimetre shorter on each one. So there's your smaller one, and if we lay this on here, the bases should perfectly line up, but you should then also have your smaller areas here too. So just popping that to the side for now because we also need to do our lid, and I was going to do my lid from this blue cardstock. So a little bit of the adhesive again, popping this down into the corner as much as possible to avoid wasting cardstock, and then cut around the 4 solid lines that are around the outside here. You also have on each of the edges, or rather each of the corners, a little solid line that you'll need to cut into there. So that's going to allow you to bend the lid into shape. And then we have the 4 score lines also. So work your way along each of these score lines. In fact, sometimes if they don't quite fit in one of the grooves, by butting this up into the corner, you can bring this over to the very last groove on your board, and I sometimes find that is just as easy to get that into there because you can see easily where you're scoring. So go across the lid, and also with these you need to go across the base, the tabs as well, where it's relevant. So here we've got the dotted line that reaches across the tabs as well as the main base. We'll go across all of those. And there we go. So let's remove the template from the lid, just carefully so you don't peel off your backing paper. There we go. It's just a little bit too much glue there. Sometimes I put too much on, but it never tears this one. It just only ever tears the template. So then we're going to fold each of these tabs upwards, keeping the colour on the underneath or the outside. And we also have our tabs here. So these can all fold into each other to create the lid. So I'm just going to put some glue on each of the corners and create a little cube with this. So there we go, there's our little lid. Now let's bring in our base again. I'm just going to glue down the centre of this first, the smaller cross that we did. So the one where we cut the panels down by 1 centimetre. I'm just going to glue that down directly on top of the first one. You should be able to easily line this up by looking at the template underneath. And then fold both of these upwards. You can do them together or you can do them separately, but either way you've put the score lines in already. There we go. So what I like to do is fold these back and forth. This is going to allow them to be a lot more flexible, and those crease lines to make those more flexible, so that hopefully when you open up your card base, these just fall open rather than you having to manually pull them down, because you kind of want that effect of them opening up as you release the base. There we go. Now to close this, all we need to do is bring the 4 edges up and pop them inside our lid with our lid. Now you can tie that if you want to. You could add some beautiful ribbon or twine around that, but then when you lift this off, the 4 edges, they all come out. You've actually got here your additional panels. Now you can decorate these, you can use double-sided paper if you like, but the beauty of it is you can use whatever paper you want to. You can use as many layers as you like, so these can get smaller and smaller as you go inwards. You can make these more into tag shapes or decorative edges if you want to. As long as the outer one remains the same as the template, it's entirely up to you sort of how many layers you put on there. Now this is perfect for mini albums, for gifting if you've got money or little gift cards you want to put in there, whatever it may be, receipts and such. But yeah, really pretty, really fun little project for you to make this Christmas time, but also for birthdays, anniversaries and other things as well.